Hello? Hello? All right. Hello? Chewing on them limited foes. All right. Let's see. So the 60-minute chart, well, there's actually a pretty decent sized support area coming up. We got this imbalance that's starting to get filled, so get a potential bounce from that imbalance. We got like a minute, 2.5 minutes for this 5-minute candle to close. See what it does. But pretty big imbalance to the bullish imbalance. 15 is breaking below the 200. All right. And then 5-minute, pretty big drop to the 200. Trying to bounce off that imbalance on the hourly. We'll see how this candle closes. I guess I could pretty much go ahead and mark out the top of that candle. A lot of selling pressure coming in. All right. Kind of breaking right below view op here. See what it does here. It's like a crucial area. And there's that 5-minute candle close. Well. We got any news today? News wise, we got wholesale at 10 a.m., but that's a yellow folder. It's not really a big news event. So not really any major news events today, which is good. Or it could be good or it could be bad. Alright, we're back above the view op here. We're bouncing off that hourly imbalance. If you look on the hourly chart, we just filled that hourly imbalance right there. pretty much to the T, getting buyers obviously stepping in from that imbalance. Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, pretty much just wait for a closure outside the range in order to do something. Right now, we're just holding view op, kind of chopping sideways. Could still come down and kind of take out that low maybe one more time. One more time. It's trying to hold view up. We're like pretty much just teetering view up. We filled this pretty much this big imbalance. We do have room. I mean, we do have room to the upside. Right? It's been kind of going sideways. Now we're... Not only did we inverse this hourly gap or imbalance, now we're pulling back to hold this one maybe as support to potentially start moving back up. But I would prefer this thing to maybe take out these lows one more time before moving up. We'll see if it does that, if we can get some selling pressure step in. Maybe kind of come up here, form a high, like an internal high, come down, close outside the range, push back in, type of thing. So we'll see. We are getting some decent selling pressure stepping in here. Gotta wait for 5-minute FEG. Well, I mean, we're getting a bounce off the hourly. There's a big hourly gap that's there. There's a massive hourly gap right there. It looks really good, but it's like a good area for a bounce too. Question is, I mean, we did get some buying pressure step in there, as you know, but when do we get the actual, you know, push out of it? A lot of sellers here. See if we can maybe take out the low one more time. People are about to get stopped out who are longing out of that gap. And we'll see. Maybe it closes, maybe it kind of sweeps this one more time and then starts going back up, or it starts displacing below and we start going for new lows. Possibly. If it can't hold, we could just be going for new lows. We'll see. But we are kind of just teetering this view up again. Dropping below it, pushing back above it. We are in a good area for a bounce. The question is, yeah, when will it happen? That's why I kind of want to see this low get swept out one more time. We're coming up on 9:41, so we got some time until the 10 a.m. mark, where usually, you know, a reversal could happen at 10 a.m. Question is, does it kind of chop before that, or But again, if there's a setup, I'll take it. Yeah. Yeah, this week has been pretty good for me. Pretty much back-to-back winning days. So, hopefully this streak continues. Let me see. I'll be back in a second. We still failed to close outside the range. Failed to close outside of this range, so but yeah, I would say that's the important part of trading, is knowing when to size down. Like, the past few months have been kind of slow for me. So, I kind of started sizing down until I kind of make some base hits. Take a couple base hits, and then you could start kind of sizing up. And that's kind of my risk management, to protect myself if I do go on a losing streak. And my losing streaks, obviously, they're not long. They're like, 2-3 trade losing streaks. So, but if I do go on a losing streak, size down, make back a couple half-size losses, and then once you can get the feel for it again, the market's picking back up then you kind of start, sizing back up. So you can kind of recover your losses pretty quickly. This is the 1 minute chart, but I look at every time frame. Gosh, someone's knocking. Hold on, someone's here. Shit. Yeah, I called it today. December price action could be good for me. A lot of people complain about December price action, but I feel like you could really take advantage of it if you know how to trade it. My strategy does not work good. My strategy does not work good when we get those breakouts and just continuations for the rest of the day. It doesn't work good for those setups. My strategy works good for days where we can get a little bit of some range range trading. That's kind of what my strategy is range trading. So when we get these breakouts and continuations, I can't trade them. And that's kind of what November was like. I would say November was kind of like it just break out of the range and then it would just continue to one direction. All right, so here's the close. See what happens here now. See if buyers start to step in again, or they fail, or they start displacing these lows. One of the two is going to happen. But which one? Have you ever swing traded? Yeah, a long time ago I have swing traded. But that was when I wasn't really taking trading seriously. It was kind of the thing, you know, to buy this and let's hold it. And you start, when you begin trading, you start doing the numbers in your head. Oh, if this goes up to this amount, then I'll make this amount. Like, there was no strategy. There was no, like, you're just kind of like buying with hopes. All right, let's see on a higher time frame what's going on. Because it was trying to hold this imbalance, which it's still it's still inside the imbalance. So this could still bounce here. You could see these old highs now becoming possibly new support. We have that 200 right there, so we'll see. I mean, I wanna take a trade, but if I don't take a trade, I mean, I had a really good week, so I wouldn't even be mad if I don't take a trade for the rest of the week. I had a pretty decent week, so. And I'm at the spot now where I'm sizing back up. So those past two trades, those past two winning trades I took were sized half size. Now I'm starting to size back up. It's a slow grind. This is the part of trading where you have to be patient. You have to kind of, I can tell you do the opposite of what everyone tells you. Like what all these people are telling you to do, you do the opposite. What does everyone do when they go through a losing streak? They start sizing up to try to make back the losses faster, and that's how they blow up their accounts. Me, I do the complete opposite. If I go on a losing streak, I size down. I size down, make back a couple half-sized losses, get a feel for it again, figure out if you're doing something wrong, and kind of start sizing back up when you get the rhythm again. But, all right, looks like we could be going for those lows. We're getting a displacement. I was hoping we could get a, you know, buyers can step back into the range and push it back above VWAP, but nada, denied. Looks like sellers just took over. Now we're also Apex is having 90% off again. So if you wanted to load up on accounts, golly, bruh. Holy. Man. So it looks like we want those lows. I guarantee you so many people got stopped out right there. Oh my gosh. The amount of people that I can already start envisioning the TikToks coming out of all the people who probably got stopped out on this trade. This they went long on this imbalance right here. I already see it. Get ready for the videos. Man, they're really taking over. 15-minute. We're going for those lows. It looks like it. They want it. They want it. We still got, what, a week left for... No, we got more than a... Hold on. Whatever.
Roger, 0J, and I feel fine. Discovery Houston, press to ATO.
Alright, we took out the wick lows here. You could see right down here, kind of these stacked lows over here. Just kind of swept them, and now buyers starting to step back in. We'll kind of see on a 1-minute chart what's going on there. So get some buying pressure stepping in off sweeping him.
Discovery's 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
We got, what, 7 minutes, 8 minutes till 10 a.m. Top of the hour. This thing just looks like it just keeps wanting to sell off. Golly, they're just selling it off. No end in sight. We got those lows down there. Looks like it's going lower. You could kind of see what's interesting is like, right? You could kind of tell if you watch price action, like what happened right here. Look what happened, right? We had those. Hold on, let me go to the hourly chart one more time. Pay attention to what happened. You had these stacked lows down here, right? What did price do? Price came down, took out those lows. Buyers, right? Buyers tried to step in. You see that green candle? That's buyers trying to step in. Buyers tried to step in, right? Then we got a little bit of a push into this imbalance. Sellers were more aggressive. Sellers took over and just tanked it below. So buyers couldn't hold it up, didn't have enough, strength to hold it up, and now sellers took over. Now we're going for probably the next low down there, which is that right here, right where that pivot point. So pay attention to what happens. If this comes down here, takes out this swing low, and then watch when buyers try to step in again. Just watch. And it's like the closer we come down there, you'll see buyers try to start stepping in. So, hold on. Let me stay on the hourly chart because I want to see it take out that low if it does. We have a pivot point there too, so oh man, leg hurts. Yeah, it's at the pivot point. That low down there is I can tell you the exact low, hold on. It's the exact low is 25,382. Exactly 25,382. All right, let's see it. All right, I marked out the low on the chart, so I don't have to keep sitting on the hourly chart. We'll go back to the 1 minute and see what happens. All right, so there you see it. There's that low, and there's the pivot point. I have that marked. I thought the pivot was a potential reversal or continuation spot marked at 25,550. Yeah, that's the that pivot point is yeah, that pivot point is just the indicator. Now the buyer's trying to step in, but haven't taken out that low yet. Hmm. 5 minute. I mean, it kind of makes sense why it would, you know, it makes sense why buyers would start stepping in, right? Again, back to the hourly chart. Look what happened previously. Look what happened. This was at 9:45 at night. The 9:40. Well, not exactly. That's the 9:45. Or no, sorry, 10:45. Right? 10:15, sorry. So that 10:15 candle, right, made that low, and you see how many buyers started to step in right there. So, right, previous history, buyers stepped in aggressively, so could we take out the low and buyers start to step in aggressively again? Yeah, there's a possibility. All right, we're coming super close to taking out that low. Man, this thing just really just took off. Did you take a trade? No, I didn't. There was nothing for me to take. I didn't get a confirmation, so the thing just... 13.5K demo insane drop. Yeah, it was a pretty crazy drop. Yeah, oh, it definitely could go lower too. It could still keep going lower. But if there's going to be a shot of this thing bouncing, it's here. This is where it could happen. $355? What's that 355? Is that another low down there too? It's getting super close to that low. Might reverse here. And we're at that 10 a.m. mark. I mean, it's aligning. 10 o'clock mark too. A lot of times, right, we do get a reversal around 10. So this buyers start stepping in. This is kind of the area where buyers could start stepping in. When, though? Is this going to be a double bottom? Is this going to be a... Are they going to take it out first? We'll see. Would say, like, instead of trying to guess, you have to kind of have some confirmation, some kind of steps to take in order to take a trade. And not just, you know, I mean, people trade differently. Some people average in. You know, some people will try to go in very light size and then have rules to maybe averaging in or something like that. But some people wait for a structure to form, then, you know, for it to break the structure. You got to figure out which rules work best for you and your... Some people wait for a gap to get inversed. Like, there's so many different ways to take it that... Predicting longs. It's a good area. I mean, there's a lot of upside potential now. We've sold off so much. There's some upside potential. So the risk to reward does make sense. But the question is, does it keep going from here? I mean, we got this gap right here. We just inverse too, right? On a 1 minute chart, there's a 1 minute gap right there. But the dangerous part is we have not taken out that low yet. So it could still come down there, take out the low. That's the only part that's kind of like... But you see the buyers starting to step in. I mean, I said it before. I mean, right, it makes sense why buyers are stepping in here. Yeah, it might come back down. It might make a, like a struggle. Whoa. Dang. It might make a high and then come back down. Kind of form a structure, right? So kind of push up, kind of form a structure, come back down, take out the lows, and then start breaking out of the structure. Or it might just continue going up without. But I feel like it gives it a higher probability if it does come out and take out the lows first, right? The fact that it did not take out the lows, a little bit lower probability on this because of the fact they still could come back down. $355 buy. I mean, yeah, that is a level it could interesting to see what it does here though. I mean, it's already pushed up freaking how many points already from that? Hey, look at that pivot point. It bounced right off that pivot point to the T. And that was what? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 points right now off the pivot. I told you, I mean, buyers are probably starts trying to step in. You see they tried to step in at the first right here, right? They tried to step in here, failed, not enough pressure, came back down, boom, tried to step in again. We'll see what happens when it touches this kind of like right here. This body candle high right here. If it takes it out and starts dropping, there's a possibility. All right, there, it took it out. Let's see if sellers start to step in. Short in queue. Yeah, I mean it could go back down. This is kind of the area where it could just take out and drop. And there's this selling pressure trying to step in. Oh yeah, it's still bearish. As long as we're below view op, we're pretty bearish, you know? So we're bearish, but also we're at a support level. So that's the thing, right? So although we're super bearish, there is some room to the upside before it continues going back down. And we are at a support level right now. So on a higher time frame. So I would say, like, if you know, if someone is in longs, you got to be careful of, you know, understanding that it could go back down. The hell? Why did my chart freeze again? We're ripping in my chart. I don't know why. I think it's the timer. Hold on. I think I know what's going on. No, maybe. Yeah, it's that timer. I have a timer down there, indicator, and it seems like it's screwing. It gets like stuck, and then the candles. Whatever. Buyers losing steam. Yeah, we're coming up to the bottom of that 5-minute range, right? It could reject off of there. What a freaking reversal, though. Damn. Like, that's a pretty... Called it, too. He said, I just didn't take out that low. We called it, too. We said, watch for buyers try to step in at those lows. And then you got just a massive reversal. Now we're coming up to a resistance area, right? This whole chop that we had before we broke now becomes resistance. Before, right, it was holding this 5-minute range as support. Now it could come back up and hold this 5-minute range as resistance to continue going down. We are pretty much pushing. Why is it lagging? What the? Let me try to take off this. Hold on. So for some reason, it's lagging. Bar timer. Let me remove it. I don't know why it does that, but it's like it gets freaking. Give me a second. All right, we're still coming up to that 5-minute range. Also, view op. I mean, big resistance area right here, so be careful. There is a big. We got the low of that 5-minute range, and we got the view op right there, stacked right on top of each other. So it's gonna need some decent buying pressure to get through that. And not only when you get through this level, then you have this pivot point, then you have the 200. So a lot of things holding price down right here. So just the FYI to be careful if you're in longs. You know, at least take some off, like protect yourself. Don't let this thing go all the way back down on you. Isn't your strategy presenting itself? No, because it right here, I was looking for it right there, but once we displaced below this 5-minute range, then it invalidated it. Now it could easily come back into the range right now and get a setup, but at that point, right, my stop would have to be all the way down here. Like these lows would have to be my stop. So that risk to reward just does not make sense. So I don't know why. Is it rhythmic or one of the two is lagging? Like we're getting a push out of it already, and I don't know why it's That was a really nice reversal. I was surprised it didn't take out the low. But see, when you watch the market enough, you see these levels and you're like, all right, this is a pretty decent size that buyers are gonna at least try to step in at this level. I mean, it's not like, right? It's just, it's kind of common sense when you look at a higher time frame, and based on previous history. I mean, just look at the chart. Based on previous history, look, right? You got wicks down there. Price kind of comes down there. Look at how many times buyers try to step in. Same here. Price comes down, buyers try to step in. Price comes down, buyers try to step in. Price comes down, buyers step in. Look at all these wicks. That's buyers stepping in aggressively. Look at that. Buyers trying to step in. Buyers. And then it broke it. And now look. Made this low. Buyers aggressively stepped in. Same now again. Buyers aggressively step back in. History repeats itself. Dude, but look at that candle. Holy crap. That's a freaking wild candle. I didn't think it was gonna shoot up that much. But it did. Not gonna lie, everything aligned perfectly. Other than it not taking out those lows. Other than it not taking out the lows, you had the 10 a.m. right there, right? And I said, a lot of times, right, we get reversals at 10 a.m. We get reversals at 10 a.m. So the fact that it was pairing up, this low was pairing up with that 10 a.m. mark was just like a sign. But like I said, other than it not taking out that low, everything looks really nice for a potential long. Obviously, it's not, although I could see it potentially happening and, you know, being able to call it out before, it doesn't mean I'm going to take the setup. It's just not my strategy. So I could see something happen and predict it and not take it just because it's not my strategy. All right, we're kind of stuck at this 5-minute now, right? Like I said, there's gonna be some resistance here. They're gonna need a lot of buying pressure to kind of push it through, but you know, sellers are gonna kind of try to hold it down right there. What'd I tell you? Look at the selling pressure stepping in. I was hoping we took out the low. I am kind of surprised we didn't take out. We just made a double bottom, but kind of surprised we didn't take out that low. It just made it. And here's what you could do with these kind of scenarios when you have confluences that you want to happen before you take a trade. Like you want a low to get taken out. You want this to happen, this to happen. What you can kind of do is you have your setup. And for example, like this, if everything was perfect, except that we did not take out that low, what you could do is just size down, right? If it's not like an A+ setup for you, and there's a little bit like, we didn't take out that low, I'm kind of worried about it, well, just size down. You could still take the trade, but just size down half size. And that's kind of what I do too. Like if I get a setup and I really like the setup, I'll go in full size. But then there are other times where I get a setup and I'm just like, I don't like it too much. Like we got, maybe view op is right there. We got the 200 right there. We got a pivot point right there. Like I'm not too fond of the setup, but I still want to take it. So sometimes what I do is I'll still take the setup. I'll be extra cautious, but I will size down and kind of take a base hit. All right, we're pushing through. We're pushing back into this 5-minute range. Pretty surprising, but we'll see if they can break it above. So all my confluences except taking session liquidity. Yeah, and that's kind of things where it's either you stay out of it or you size down. And you can't be mad at yourself if you stay out of it, because that's discipline, right? Even if it goes in your direction. If all your confluences don't get met and you don't take a trade, that's just discipline. That's not being, But I think it's gonna have a tough time getting through this level right here. So see, like technically my strategy would possibly be setting up here, but again, I still wouldn't take it because the risk to reward obviously just does not make sense. So unless I put my kind of stop below these lows here, in that case, I could put a stop below these swing lows, but it's not something I've back tested, so I don't know, Wow, buyer's still stepping back in. Impressive. We're above VWAP now. And to me, it's gonna be kind of a extra bullish sign if we do get a bullish gap inside right here. That would be a pretty crazy sign to me. All we could do is not trade or wait for a pullback into the PD array. Yeah, I mean, it's as long as you're taking your setup that you've back tested and you use, You know, you're doing good, and make sure you keep data on it. Any little thing you change, make sure to keep track of your data. Like if you say, you know, maybe trade into a PD array. All right, I missed the trade, and say you do take the trade, and it's, you know, it ends up being a losing trade. Then you go back and go, all right, what did I? All right, well, I kind of I did this and this, and I waited for this, and this is what I did differently, and it didn't work out. So if you see a, you know. Then down the line, if you keep doing that and you see it not working out, then you know to change that. But if you don't journal and keep track of your trades, then you don't know to change that. All right, this is a crazy bullish sign for me. We are very bullish now. I mean, now my thoughts of an actual pullback back down there is getting lower and lower from what I see. So this would kind of be my setup coming up again, but obviously I'm not going to take the trade just because it would not make sense risk to reward wise. But let's just see what happens here off this imbalance right there. Coming back down, possibly fill that imbalance, and then continue going back up. Or it just runs. So these highs right here are the highs that kind of you got to be, that it could go for. Oh, ES took London highs. So you can see it didn't fill that imbalance, but it's running for those highs. What a freaking reversal. Holy crap. That is a crazy reversal. That's a... Bro, whoever caught that trade... That is a wild reversal. That is like the most beautiful reversal I've seen. This is a textbook. This is a textbook. It's called a V-shaped reversal. Right? This is a perfect textbook setup V-shaped reversal out of it. Oh, give me a second. I'll be back. Oh, thank you. I forgot. But I was saying that it hasn't taken out this market open high yet. looks like it kind of wants to take out that high, but hasn't also filled this imbalance yet. But once it takes out that high, then that imbalance pretty much doesn't matter anymore in my eyes. But as long as that high hasn't got taken out, it could still fill this imbalance and continue ripping. But if it takes out the high first, then it could just run through that imbalance like it, you know. So I'll see what it does here. All right, it's about to take it out. We are pretty bullish in this area. I mean, I would honestly be kind of surprised if we reverse all the way back down to the lows. At this point, we're, in my eyes, pretty bullish. I mean, we've ran through some major, you know, resistance levels that, in my eyes, once we run through those levels, that shows a lot of buyers are continuing to step in. All right, there's the high. Oh, not yet. It's having a lot of trouble trying to take out that high. Now, also, another thing, 10:30, be careful because we do get reversals at 10:30. So those are two things. Just like we got this run up, I've seen times before, plenty of times where 10:30 mark comes up and we get a sell off at 10:30. Just a, you know. That could happen. I'm just really curious to see if it kind of fills this imbalance first and then goes for the highs. Or it still hasn't taken out the high. The high... It's just a double top. Alright, here's the filling in. Here's the imbalance getting filled. Buyer stepping in. Not yet. Alright, there's buyers stepping in. See if they can push it for the high and take out the high. Holy crap, seller's taking over. We got view op down there, so we could still bounce off of view op. See if we get a bounce here. There's that 5-minute imbalance too. but it is rolling over on the. It can kind of go either way. That's the. But as long as you stay above view op, looking pretty solid. Like once it starts dropping below view op, that's when it gets kind of scary. But well, there's buyers stepping in again. Tapping that pivot. Come on, buyers. Come on. Step in. Also, the closer we get to 11, you get that, you know, the volume starts to kind of die off, too. Yeah, we could get some... Seeing if we... Take out that high. Go for that high again. Up here. We have not taken out that high yet. We're just kind of rebalancing. Which we could... I think we could rip for that high. Like I said, remember, as long as that high doesn't get taken out, this imbalance is still valid. So... But obviously I did not, you know, not taking this trade just because it doesn't make sense to take it. But I'm still curious to see what it does here. Another thing, like I said, remember the 1030 mark, you got to be careful at that 1030. We get reversals down. So obviously it's like if you're getting a setup all the way up here, it becomes more dangerous too, because the higher buyers push up, then you lose that momentum, right? The buying momentum. People start to take profits, people start to, you know, short, people, all these selling pressure starts to come in, that if you're trying to long at a top, it's kind of not the smartest thing to do. Or you can is just you have to have your stops at a place that makes sense. You would have to have your stops at the lows here, which also doesn't make sense, right? So it's like, no, I'm curious to see what happens here. The setup just does not make sense, because your stop would have to be the lows, and then your take profit would be like what, these highs up here, which the risk to reward is not that great. So. But it could still work out. We're trying to get a bounce off view up here. But I think that's pretty much it for me. But, alright, I'm going to hop off. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully we get some good price action tomorrow again. Last day of the week, so we'll see. But y'all stay safe. Don't overtrade. Don't blow your accounts. Be patient. There's always tomorrow. So that being said, y'all peace out. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys